the top 10 experiences that I've had over the last decade of running an SMMA. What's going on, guys? Nick Friel here, founder of Media Simplified. So Media Simplified is a digital marketing agency / SMMA that's been operating for, like I said, just under a decade. We've helped over 800 clients in that time. And the premise of this channel is to try and share some of that experience and that knowledge, not only with our clientele base, who are mortgage brokers and private money lenders, but also with other SMMA owners who may be trying to build their business and improve their lifestyle as well. I can tell you, as an agency owner, I have been through all of the highs and lows, all of the valleys and peaks, and I've had some incredible experiences, which what I'm going to be going over in this video, but I've also had a lot of setbacks and things that I may have done differently. But there's certainly cons to scaling a digital marketing agency. It's very difficult. It takes every bit of me, but it's provided, like I said, some absolutely incredible experiences. So to show a little appreciation for my agency and what it's done for my life over the last decade, I want to go through the top 10 experiences that I have had due to the freedom and the financial stability that the agency has provided. None of these experiences that I'm going to be going over would be possible without a team, which is one of the things I'm most grateful for and most proud about scaling over the last decade, is the team I have with my agency. And really all of these experiences either include them or I was able to do because of them. So big shout out to my team for making all of these things possible. But to start it off, we're going way back to 2018. One of the first trips I took, I was just then able to afford even a passport, and I went out to Southern California to visit some friends during that time. I really, like I said, it was when I was just starting to do well with the agency. I was just able to even afford a passport, never mind plane tickets and all that. But we went out, we surfed in La Jolla constantly, day in and day out. We went all the way down to Rosarito, Mexico, and rode four-wheelers. We surfed even more. We did tequila and lobsters on the beach, and I actually even closed a deal, which was one of the first times I actually closed a deal while traveling. So overall, it was a really cool experience to come back and feel like my business was not only not stagnant, it even grew a little bit while I was out enjoying myself. So that's coming in at number 10. 2018 trip to Rosarito / Southern California was absolutely epic. I'm gonna leave some of the good parts out, but coming in at number 9 was the D2D con out in Salt Lake City. We went and did a conference back in, I think, 2019, and it was a conference for anybody doing any sort of door-to-door sales. At that time, we were focused on a lot of different niches, including solar and roofing and some other things that were more door-to-door focused. So we flew out the entire team. We had a booth set up, we had a speaking slot, and it was just really cool to be able to kind of do all this in person, being that so much of what we do is done through a computer or on the phone. That was the first time that, my team was really able to go out as one unit. We were able to meet clients, meet prospects, kind of do everything in person, and we kind of capped the weekend with a speaking slot. So I was able to speak in front of a decent crowd, and overall it was just an awesome experience. We even closed a deal from on stage. It was definitely not something to brag about. Some people, I'm sure, closed the entire room. I didn't do well. I closed one deal, but for it being our first conference, selling a high ticket product, I felt good about it. We walked away. I think it was a break even for the conference, but overall 10 out of 10 experience. That's why it's coming in at number 9. At number 8, this is a trip that's definitely near and dear to my heart. It was the first real out-of-country trip I had taken, and it was to Nicaragua. I think this was even in 2017. I took a surf trip to Nicaragua. I think at the time I had maybe like $3,000 in my bank, which was awesome for me. Like that was, you couldn't tell me anything. I had money I could provide for myself. I could pay rent, and that was a huge kind of milestone for me in my journey. And in 2017, my first trip to Nicaragua, it also happened to be my first ever surf trip, my first trip running the agency, and it's also the first trip that someone else sold a deal. So my brother, who was working with me at the time, actually ended up closing a deal while I was out surfing. Up until then, he was just a setter who was getting appointments for me. He took it the extra mile, closed a deal, and it was the first time I ever actually went on a trip, and came back with more money than I left with. And from then on, I knew this is it. This is what I have to figure out. And this is the lifestyle I want to have. So the fact that the agency could provide that, wasn't even something I intended on happening, but it was such an eye-opening trip. And for that to happen and kind of be a notion from the universe, like, hey, you need to start scaling and get a team in place, it was definitely an eye-opener for me. So first time I ever went to Nicaragua is coming in at number 8. Number 7, really cool experience. We went to the Waco Wavepool out in Waco, Texas. It's also known as BSR. This was way before it even really got super popular. Wave pools are everywhere now, but up until this point, they were kind of, one of the only ones in the country you could actually get to as a public member. So me and one of my team members and 2 friends flew out to Waco. While I was there, everyone else was kind of off. I was in the hotel or in the lodge working, between sessions and whatnot. And, at the time, I really took pride in that and being able to work on the go. So to be able to fly out to Texas and to, work for a full week and also surf a pool that was very much novelty at the time, it was an awesome experience. And yeah, now they're blowing up and they're everywhere. So definitely grateful we got to do that. Came away with some awesome memories there. Coming in at number 6 is going to be a client content trip that we had paid for us, that we went out to Cabo, Mexico to do a skimboarding trip. It was all time. We had, a professional skimboarder with us. He was a good friend of mine, John Ackerman. Shout out Jackerman. Cheeto sponsored the entire trip, so they covered our stay and whatnot. And we went out to get content for them and also had a skimboarding trip of a lifetime. It's somewhere I had wanted to go forever, and it just happened to work with the client at that time. We don't do a ton of, just video media for clients, but that was a client that we were doing mainly video content for, and we skimmed the iconic wedge. We did it all. So Cabo has a soft spot in my heart, one of the most incredible places in the world, and that's why it's coming in at number 6. And coming in at number 5 for one of the top 5 experiences that I've ever had because of the SMMA is we took the whole team down and even some friends down to Isla Morada in the Keys. My wife, which at that time was my girlfriend, had a house down in the Keys. We brought the entire team down, the boat and everything, brought it down. We spent the weekend in the Keys with the entire team and just had an absolutely incredible time. Not only going out to the lighthouse, but hanging out at the house and really just getting to spend more personal time with the team and not have it be so much work oriented. It was very much kind of a team bonding and team building event that has a soft spot in my heart. That's why it's coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, really not only top experiences, but one of those top days of recent memory. I surprised almost the entire team. Not everybody was there, but surprised everyone on a weekend and told them, hey, we need to work tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff going on. I know I hate to do this, but I gotta ask that everyone's available to work tomorrow. And I actually had skydiving set up. So we flew out to this, in my opinion, super sketchy skydiving scenario. And not everybody was up for it, but everybody got on the plane and everybody jumped off the plane. And I think everybody was really excited to just kind of get out of the box, do something eye-opening. And I could tell it really changed perspectives for a lot of the team members. It was something that was really cool to share because I had already done it at that point and I knew kind of how much of an effect it had on me. I wanted to share that with them. And then on the way home, I actually connected with Lauren, my wife, and we ended up going to pick up Banks, my best friend, and he's somewhere around here. But same day that I took the team out skydiving, I also picked up Banks. So that was an awesome, definitely top 5 day in the SMMA Experiences zone. Number 3 on this list is, so as you can tell on this list, I have a soft spot for Nicaragua. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and that's why it's coming in at number 3 on this list. Back in, I think 2019 or 2020, 2019, we took the entire team out to Nicaragua. We spent just under a month there. It was like 3 weeks or so, not only surfing, but working. We closed, 11 or 12 deals. We had a great month of business, and we did everything from compound on the beach in Nicaragua while scoring world-class waves. So not everyone even surfed, but the country itself is so beautiful. There's just so much to do that even the people that didn't surf, I think, had an incredible time and experience, and to be able to share something like that I love with my entire team was awesome. The month in Nicaragua was unforgettable, and that's why it's coming in at number 3. Number 2 on this list is going to be a more recent trip. So just about 6 months ago, or maybe 8 months ago, we went to South Africa. One of the first trips that I really disconnected the entire trip. Once again, fully due to the team I have in place, so big shout out to my team. But South Africa, we were traveling for 11 days, and really almost none of the time, I think 10 out of the 11 days, I did not have to do anything work related, which is a testament to my team holding things down. And that was just, such a refreshing experience to go have an incredible trip, see a place like that, and not have to, for the first time, not really have to worry about my agency, knowing it was in good hands, which is why South Africa is coming in at number 2 on the list. So number 1 is taking it all the way back to 2018. It's the trip I took with Lauren. We went to Bali for the first time, and this is the most impressionable on me because at the time we were growing the agency. I was just starting to get the team in place. It was the first time I had actually taken Lauren anywhere. It was the first time I had really gone anywhere nice outside of a trip to Nicaragua. Bali was the only other place I had been, or Bali was the only other place I had any plans to go to, and that's because my wife Lauren had been absolutely everywhere, so I had to find a far corner of the earth where she hadn't been. But on that trip, I had a really big goal in mind set way before that trip. And on the very last day, as we were getting kind of winding down and getting ready to head to the airport, I actually hit that massive goal, and it was just such an experience. My wife will know exactly the moment I'm talking about, and I was just very much overcome with kind of not only disbelief, but also like reassured that I'm doing the right thing, I'm building the right sort of agency, and it was one of the top experiences, if not the top experience that the SMMA has provided. Just hitting a goal that was so important to me after having such an incredible trip. I think she would agree that's probably her favorite trip as well. One little bonus one, I also proposed to her in Nicaragua, so that should probably be at the top of the list, but I wanted to keep it all more SMMA focused. But those are the top 10 experiences that running an SMMA has provided for me. I hope, if anything, this motivates you or excites you to go out and really cherish your SMMA and build it in a way that can serve you a lifestyle that you're excited to talk about and be proud of. And beyond that, I really wanted to do it for me, just to really analyze why I'm grateful for my agency and why I'm grateful for the last